The 2013 NEC men's basketball quarterfinals are in the books, and we have the Final Four this year, and those four teams will battle on Semifinal Saturday for one of two tickets to paradise, and by paradise we mean the NEC championship game. Craig D'Amico and Ron Ratner here on NEC Front Row to recap the first round, look ahead to the semifinals, and we start with our first semifinal. We have LIU Brooklyn taking on Wagner, and Wagner looked very impressive, very efficient in their quarterfinal win over Central Connecticut.
Yeah, I think the depth won out there. Central was kind of running on a short rotation for much of the year. They ran into a Wagner team that's been playing well lately, held them to 25% shooting from the field and 55 rebounds in the game. So they dominated the boards. You know, the major players were there for Wagner. John Williams had 20 points. Lateef Rivers coming back from an injury, played well. And Marcus Burton, he really gives them a spark off the bench. So, I think Wagner, workmanlike effort, they did what they needed to do at home.
And you were in Brooklyn for the LIU Quinnipiac showdown, and boy, what a game that was. And it might have had one of the best finishes of the night as far as the quarterfinals are concerned.
Yeah, now this one I can speak of personally. This was showdown. You got that right. This didn't feel like a quarterfinal game. I actually tweeted it out at one point that this is my 15th tournament. I've been through 15 sets of quarterfinal games. This was the best one I've ever seen because it had the feel, of a semi or a championship game, because I think both of these teams were so evenly matched. It wouldn't have shocked me to see Quinnipiac win and then make a run to the championship. Two solid teams, physical. It's a real physical game. Teams that don't rely as much on the three-point shot, and Quinnipiac, when they go to work on the boards, yeah, they're tough to stop. But LIU in the second half, they played each other back-to-back games, and in the second half, they got it going late.
Heart of a champion.
That's what Tom Moore said in his press conference afterwards. And if you remember back to last year's semis, LIU was in the same predicament, down 7-8 points, 6 minutes to go. And this was C.J. Garner time, and he's playing at a level that is as good as any player in the league right now. Back-to-back 30-point games for him. And when Jamal Ossery was in foul trouble and then fouled out with a couple minutes to go, it was C.J. Garner who was there to answer the call. And with the game on the line, we had Jason Brickman make one of his drives, and he dishes off to Kenny Onyeci for the big dunk, and that was game. But heck of a game, and we're gonna have a heck of a game coming up between these two games again.
Now it's game on between Wagner and LIU. Only spot for one of them in the final. Wagner trying to get there for the first time since 2005. LIU, the two-time defending champions, trying to get there again for now a third straight year. We saw a great matchup the last time they got together. What can they possibly do for an encore this time around? What do you expect to see on Saturday?
Yeah, there's no shortage of storylines in this game. These two teams went at it a couple weeks ago on ESPNU. It goes down to the buzzer. It was just an entertaining game, as you'll see. I think you're looking at a similar game. There's going to be a packed house at Spiro. We know that. Two teams that know each other real well. We got two first-year head coaches in the game, so there's a lot of juice. It's a New York game. There'll be media there. I think there's an excitement about the game from the people who have seen the last one. What do I expect? I expect there to be points on the board again. I expect there's going to be a lot of athletic blocks and dunks and plays, and this is going to go down. I think it goes down to the end, and whoever wins the last 2 minutes may win the game.
Points, dunks, sounds like fun. You're not going to want to miss that. That sounds like a lot of fun. So that game will be going on on Grimes Hill at the Spiro Sports Center. A great environment for college basketball. And then out in Moon Township, you have the other semifinal, which will feature Mount St. Mary's taking on Robert Morris. Let's look at how both teams got here. First, for Robert Morris, again, very efficient performance. They looked every bit as much as the number one seed in the regular season champion. And they might be the hottest shooting team right now as far as behind the arc. They had another great night as far as shooting three-pointers.
Yeah, you don't typically think of Robert Morris as that kind of team. You don't look at them. You look at them as more of we're going to grind out the wins and play defense and make big shots. But they got shooters now, yeah. and they have they got guards that can get the ball to the shooters too. So. You got your Carvel Anderson scoring 20 points in 23 minutes off the bench. That's what he does. You have your Karan Williams. And don't underestimate at this point in his career how good Russell Johnson is as a player. And he's been through so many big games. He had a huge game yesterday. You combine him with, Velton distributing the ball and Lucky Jones in his all-around game. They did what you said. They did what they had to do against St. Francis. They played like a one seed. They've been playing like a one seed. And that's a tough out. They're playing in Moon Township.
And then on the other side, you have Mount St. Mary's, a team that, well, they won on the road in a hostile environment against a higher-seeded team, and they had to come back to do it down in halftime, down in the second half, and they put together a great rally at the end to win it and advance. And what can you say about the job that Mount St. Mary's has done so far this year? Now 8 in a row.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. At first, you say this is surprising, as the streak was building during the regular season, but now you say maybe they're just really good. Okay, maybe Jamie and Christian and his players are onto something. This is a very deep team. They're deep and athletic. They play their mayhem style, and I think they just wear teams down. Maybe last night with Bryan, another team that runs on a short rotation, and maybe that's where they got him in the last 5 minutes of that game. Their guards are fantastic. When you have a rookie of the year in Siobhan Wiggins, and not only he's not playing like a rookie, he's coming through in the clutch. You have Rashad Wack. Sam Prescott, Julian Norfleet. So they keep coming at you with these 6-footers to 6'5" guys. And then you get a contribution from Raven Barber on the inside, and now you're talking. Now you're sending out a complete team. I think, for longtime NEC fans, this was the rivalry a few years ago. If you go back 5 years, there was no better rivalry than Mount and Robert Morris. All the players are different now, but it's back again, and the teams are constructed differently, and they play different styles, and you're going to see 63-pointers in this game. They're just going to be firing up from all angles. I think it's going to be an exciting game. Not unlike the old Mount Robert Morris games where 52-50 were the kind of scores you were looking at. Should be entertaining basketball, and again, I don't even know where to fall on this one.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. These two, no strangers to each other at this stage as far as the playoffs are concerned. As far as an X factor, though, where do you think the X factor may lie to decide this one either way?
That's a good question. I think a lot has to do with who's going to make shots. When you're shooting lots of 33 pointers in a game, where are they going to fall? Does Robert Morris finally have the solution to stopping and grounding the Mount attack? Can they do that? Robert Morris prides itself on its defense. So I'm curious to see how they handle the Mount mayhem style. And for Robert Morris, who's going to have an inside game? Like where are the points going to come from? Is Raven Barber going to come through? Is Russell Johnson, Lucky Jones going to pound it inside? We'll see. They're perimeter, more perimeter oriented at this point, but I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. This is a tough one to take a look at and say I know this team is going to win.
Well, you're not going to want to miss it. Semifinal Saturday. Both games will be televised. Check your local listings. Also on ESPN3. And then the two winners will match up on Tuesday in the 2013 NEC Men's Basketball Championship game. For Ron Ratner, I'm Craig D'Amico. This is NEC Front Row.